Hi, I'm Ashley Truitt, a third-year MLA student at the University of Michigan. Thank you for tuning into my presentation on the Motorless City, a 2050 vision for the Detroit riverfront to become a motor-free transit route. Detroit is known to be the great motor city, but motor vehicles were not always a part of the landscape. Let's start by taking a dive into Detroit's transportation history. In the 1860s, horse-drawn streetcars were the way people got around. By the 1890s, they made the switch to electric. The streetcar network in Detroit was expansive and catered to everyone. 1900 rolls around and Henry Ford comes to town, creating the Model T. He was incredibly successful within the auto industry, starting the assembly line and mass production of vehicles by the 1920s. The world became fascinated with this new technology, and Detroit was at the heart of it all. 1960 hits, and there are over 300,000 manufacturing jobs in Detroit from the production of the automobile. Cars may be convenient, but they come with their share of problems. In 2012, transportation accounted for 31% of greenhouse gas emissions. Detroit specifically is a hotspot for emissions as well. Driving emissions in Detroit have grown faster than the population from 1990 to 2017. That means emissions per person has increased over time. Emissions also lead to poor air quality, which is a public health crisis in itself. Asthma rates in Detroit are nearly 30% higher than in the state of Michigan. Climate change adds another layer of complications into the world of transportation. We know that precipitation will increase in frequency and intensity. Our current road system allows for endless amounts of impervious surfaces. 4 major highways pass through Detroit, and the design of the city funnels its major roadways into city center. Those roads are at least 5 lanes wide, and in some cases, 9. Those impervious surfaces direct stormwater and all the pollution that goes along with it into the Detroit River. With increased precipitation coming our way, overflow events are only going to become more frequent and problematic. People of Detroit do not have equal access to transportation either. Insurance rates are sky high in Michigan and even higher in Detroit. The cost of insurance in Detroit is more than $5,000. That's more than 2 times the state average and 4 times the national average. So, combine that with a high rate of unemployment in low-income households, it's nearly impossible for residents to own a vehicle. It's clear to see the great motor city is failing its residents. So, the motorless city is coming to pick up the slack. The design interventions of this vision will increase accessibility to the Detroit riverfront. It will look back to history for solutions and expand the streetcar network. It will create a more walkable and bikeable environment to move away from cars as the primary mode of transportation. It will also mitigate the environmental harms that traditional modes of transportation has blessed us with, increasing stormwater infiltration and carbon storage. And most importantly, it will remove the motor vehicle from the landscape. Now that would be a very dramatic shift across the whole city of Detroit, but we know that just isn't feasible. Where this could work, though, is along Jefferson Ave. Jefferson Ave follows the riverfront, holding a lot of industrial land, segmented park space, and scattered residential areas between it and the river. Accessing the river also isn't the most appealing. When thinking about the year 2050 and the unpredictability of climate change, it makes sense to use that land more effectively, converting all the land to park space, allowing for more infiltration and carbon storage, plus creating a natural buffer for the river. To improve access to the river at a citywide scale, the electric streetcar will be expanded, reaching out into the neighborhoods of Detroit, leading to the new riverfront. Intersecting hubs will allow you to get across the city or to the river with ease. This design intervention will allow for an alternative streetscape, transit hubs along the river, and a completely restored riverfront park system. The red line in this plan indicates the former extent of Jefferson Ave. This design has reduced that by 60%. Separated streetcar, walking, and biking lanes offer safe and efficient modes of transportation into the city, and as you can see, no cars allowed. Planting buffers collect stormwater runoff and infiltrate it to limit nutrients discharged into the river. Transit hubs are located at the intersection of streetcar routes along Jefferson Ave. Bike share stands located near the roadway allow you to hop on and get to where you are going quickly and conveniently. A linear path guides you through the riverfront park system to take a leisurely stroll and enjoy nature. This small section of riverfront alone will have 50 acres of new vegetation, the entire riverfront having nearly 3,000 acres. 3 different ecosystems will be beneficial in infiltrating stormwater and storing carbon within native vegetation's root systems. Oak hickory forest was the natural ecosystem of the riverfront before urbanization. Oaks are a tremendous species for carbon storage and sequestration. Mixing slow and fast-growing tree species will maximize the carbon storing potential of the landscape. Wetland retention ponds will allow you to see the landscape in action. Plants in the emergent and submergent zones, such as marsh marigold and blue flag iris, will filter out pollutants and clean the stormwater. Naturalizing the shoreline will act as a buffer during large rain events. These plants are chosen to withstand inundation but can adapt to fluctuating water levels. This zone will act as the final filter before stormwater hits the river. As you just saw, the motorless city improves access to the riverfront, adding roughly 10 miles of new continuous park space. It also is taking back all of the environmental harms that traditional transportation modes have put upon us, prioritizing stormwater infiltration and carbon storage. It's time we turn the motor city into the motorless city. Thank you.